Hey everybody, cricket rockstar Devo Tyrell Ordain here. Who would have ever thought I would be saying this right now? That the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons have gone to the top of the Caribbean Premier League points table. This is following a tense 8-run victory over the Trinbago Knight Riders played at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium, played at North Sound, Antigua. After being sent into bat by the TKR, the Falcons posted a challenging 167 for the loss of 6 wickets in their 20 overs. Now, at one point, they were 4 for 77 in the middle phase and struggling. Then came the all-rounders, such as veteran Imad Wasim, Fabian Allen, and Shamar Springer. And let me start with Fabian Allen himself, because Imad Wasim, I don't want to talk about him much after all the shit he did against India about a year or so ago. But this guy, literally, he was the one that brought the Falcons right back in this game. Fabian Allen's valuable contribution with his dynamic 45 of 20 deliveries at a flamboyant strike rate of 225. That brought them back in the game, along with those 3 boundaries and 3 sixes. Now, when he had came into bat, they were behind in the ball game very early on, even though it was early in the match. And he had support from Imad Wasim, who made an undefeated 39 of 27 deliveries. And once again, just like with TKR's first game, Usman Tariq, the Pakistani off-spinner, who is yet to make his international debut, he was the pick of the Knight Riders bowlers, taking, I think, 2 wickets or something like that. Figures of 2 for 37 from 4 overs. He was expensive today. In the last game, he went for 34 runs and picked up 4 wickets. That was on a flat pitch at Warner Park. In their response of 168 to go 2 from 2 and to get to the top of the table, the Trinbago Knight Riders fell 8 runs shy, finishing on 159 for the loss of 6 in their allotted 20 overs. Despite a blistering start from opener Colin Munro, who scored a rapid 44 from 18 deliveries, the Knight Riders' middle order batting lineup, they fell apart like a house of cards. They all struggled to maintain the momentum set up by Munners after he got them off to an absolute flyer. Hales failed, Puran failed, so did Kisikati and Darren Bravo. Now, I don't know what was on the management mind in bringing Darren Bravo in the team for, but I'll get to that a bit later on. Only Kieran Pollard, he fought hard to keep the Knight Riders in the game, undefeated on 43 not out at the end, but it wasn't enough to get his team over the line. The Falcons' bowling attack, let me just say this, they were absolutely magnificent on the night. They were expensive from the beginning, but after they got rid of Colin Munro, they themselves came right back into the game in a big way. And they were led by McCoy, who I thought was highly effective on the day. He was expensive earlier on, but he came back taking 4 crucial wickets for 40 runs at over 10 and over. And undoubtedly, he was adjudged the player of the match. Honestly, it could have been either him or Fabian Allen, for the way how Fabian Allen turned the game around in the last 5 overs, where the Falcons scored 60 of the last 5, which is 12 runs per over. Now, the Falcons' bowling attack has been consistent, unlike its batting unit, which has struggled right throughout the campaign. But I know for a fact at some point it is going to pick up the pace. Their fielding has severely improved from last season in their debut season, which hasn't been all that good, but it has proved to a limit where a magic spell could get them into the playoffs. You never know. They could go deep. But the magic spell so far is turning out to be working quite well for the Patriots. And not just that, the decision makers, they're doing the right thing. If you look at Paul Nixon, he was telling McCoy and even Shamar Springer in the dead overs to bowl wide outside off stump, make sure that the batters don't come across and let them get away with it. That also helped them in securing the victory. This is the part where I must excuse my language because it is going to contain some obscene, so For those under the age of 18, watch with a grown-up. That's all I have to tell you. Let me tell you something. The Trinbago Knight Riders, they only had themselves to blame because of needless cricket from some of the individuals. Don't forget the last 5 overs in the first innings where the Falcons were batting. They tracked down TKR and took them down for 60 runs in the last 5 overs. And let me also say something as well. The campaign is getting tougher for TKR. They next play the defending champions, the St. Lucia Kings, on Saturday in their home turf in St. Lucia. The other thing you have to ask yourself too is, will Andre Russell be fit for Saturday? Because he didn't play the first 2 games as a so-called workload management. And then the next thing too, the management ain't even saying anything. Just the other day, Otis Gibson in an interview on TV6 Morning Edition say how TKR have what it takes to win the 5th title. I do not see it happening, not at this moment, because you're always making promises, this, that, the other. But where's the proper communication? Russell hasn't played since the opening game. We understand they rested him for the game against the Patriots. He nor Ali Khan, why aren't they in the starting 11? We can understand that they had him on the bench for some reason. But for the experts to say that they aren't 100% fit, I don't know how true is that though. They're warming up with the team. So the question is the management not clarifying anything? Then the mistake the management made for this game was dropping Joshua De Silva, who was one of the stars in the Cricket West Indies Breakout League, replacing him with Darren Bravo, who has not played much cricket since the Super 50 in November 2023. What is this? What kind of foolishness or what kind of shit is this? Plus, something has to give too. Now, I'm not blaming Colin Monroe though, and the reason for that is he set the platform up for the Knight Riders to get the 168 runs. He got off to a blistering flyer, making 44 of 18 deliveries. You could say he had 1 or 2 lines, but the man got off to an absolute flyer. Once he got out in an unusual fashion in which he normally doesn't play unorthodox unless if it's the spinners in the attack. Once he got out, Puran did stripness coming down the wicket to Rakeem Cornwall. And then after he got out, he just banged on anything like if it's an infant or something like that. He out of form, hasn't scored much runs in the first 2 games. Kisi Kati, I don't know what's going on with him ever since 2023-24 season. He has struggled a bit. He faltered, so did Darren Bravo faltered. He shouldn't have been in the 11 in the first place, Darren, with due respect. His time has come and gone. But the middle phase is where the Knight Riders lost the game. So did the last 5 overs in the first innings. These are the 3 along with not so good captaincy from Puran in the back end of the first innings that costed the Knight Riders. And let me tell you something. All this foolishness that they did should not have happened. This was very schoolboy behavior and amateurish. And as a fan of TKR myself, they need to take responsibility, because if them do defeat the Kings on Saturday, which is very important, what is going to have the fans thinking of come the home leg, which starts next Wednesday, God's willing? All I can say is they need to get their head down together rather than laughing it off, get their ass butts down to training, and get back to basics. With all that said, that's going to wrap up my video. I do apologize for the obscene language, but I had to say what I had to say. And as a Knight Rider fan myself, I'm completely freaking pissed off right now. That's it for this video. Remember, be good, be cool, stay frosty, and we'll continue. Bye for now. I'm very upset with the performances.